Good evening. Getting on the housing market has never been tougher, and here in the south there are some of the most expensive homes in the country. Today, a government white paper set out how to fix our broken housing market and make homes more affordable. Phil Hornby has been investigating.
Lisa and her partner rent. They'd love to buy. They don't think they ever will.
We do feel quite trapped, yeah. We've been talking about starting a family, but we just don't feel like we could do it in this area because the price of both renting and mortgages is far too high.
This man says he has a plan.
Prices are too high, we are not building enough homes, and this white paper is a radical blueprint to change this once and for all.
He knows since the Tories' mass house building programme in the 1950s, every government has failed on housing. And yet they all recognise there's a problem. They all say they have a way of solving it. Now housing shortages are more serious than ever, house prices and the price of renting higher than ever, and out of the reach of many, many people, especially in the south. One thing he's not doing is changing the rules about building on the Green Belt.
We promised the British people that the Green Belt was safe in our hands, and that is still the case.
But he said the government's determined to build the right homes in the right places, speed up the business of house building and help small independent building companies. MPs agree there is a crisis. Some blame their local councils.
There's a Wild West adversarial, Lib Dem, lazy planning attitude in my constituency.
Others wanted more help for their councils.
In Brighton and Hove alone, there are 26,000 people on the housing waiting list. So why will he not answer the question about why he won't lift the borrowing cap so councils can start building again?
And some Tories too called for more council houses.
Isn't the answer to greater empower the public sector?
The south is one of the parts of the country where the problems with our housing market are at their worst. But as a government, we must make sure that young people there can get on the housing ladder. It's not acceptable to say they don't have a chance. So we need to build more homes. That's what this white paper is about, to make housing more affordable over time. But we also need to provide help to people right now, and that's the Help to Buy scheme and starter homes.
All governments talk the talk on housing. The question is, can this one walk the walk? Phil Hornby, ITV News, Westminster.
In other news, a cyclist in Brighton has been arrested on suspicion of committing 24 sexual assaults in under a week. The 20-year-old man targeted women across the city, all while on his bicycle. He was caught by detectives while attacking 2 women. Controversial plans to increase council tax in Surrey by 15% have been abandoned. The Conservative-led authority had wanted the extra money to sort out the crisis in social care, blaming government cuts. But they've now announced the increase will be 4.9%. That's an extra £63 a year for a Band D property.
I believe we are now at a point where I believe there's a way forward which does not involve a council tax referendum. And I believe the government now really does understand the whole issue about adult social care, the crisis that's facing the country, and about looking for a solution. I think the Prime Minister and I think the Chancellor of both, and certainly the Secretary of State for Health, they're both all on that we need to do something about this, and I think this is the way forward.
Now, keeping children safe online can be worrying for parents. Often they don't know enough about their children's digital lives and how vulnerable they actually are. But Hampshire Police are trying to tackle the issue, as Emma Wilkinson explains.
A video by young people for young people. This, the winning entry in a Hampshire Police competition for high school pupils to create a film about sexting. It's becoming more and more common. New research suggests half of 13 to 17-year-olds have seen naked pictures of someone they know being shared around their school or community. Here, teenagers from Robert May's school in Odium screen their new prevention film.
People thought, well, it's probably fine because my friend did it, and it's like it can sort of have repercussions just because one person did it. It then spreads and spreads and spreads.
I think it's certainly something that some teenagers feel they almost must do in a relationship.
How long it takes if you did send it to take it down, how it affects you in future job applications, all very scary.
The film's message is that a nude picture can spread like wildfire once sent to someone else. And a police survey of more than 900 Hampshire secondary school pupils gives a worrying insight into their digital lives. But Hampshire Police say this campaign is not about criminalising young people.
This is about educating and intervention and safeguarding young people. So we don't want to create a fear of the fact that they're going to get in trouble with the police, because we want them to come forward. We want them to seek that help. A lot of the downward spiral in mental health and well-being is when young people actually think they've done something wrong and they'll hold it in, and then it'll get more and more and more out of control. And that's when they end up at further risk.
The internet today is driven by images and videos, and while experts say this is often used positively by young people, it can also magnify the risks and pressures they face. Emma Wilkinson, ITV News, Fleet.
And there's more on that story on our website. Just head to itv.com/Meridian. 5 people have been arrested following a standoff between protesters and police in Portsmouth. Officers were called to the Arts Lodge in Victoria Park to help council staff evict people this morning. The arrests were made after 2 constables were assaulted. The council say art and soul traders were told several times to leave the property. A crowdfunding appeal has been launched to rebuild a cricket club destroyed by arsonists in Sussex. The blaze broke out at Alwick Cricket Club near Bognor Regis last Monday. Thousands of pounds worth of equipment and furniture were destroyed in the fire. Now, the TV chef Tom Kerridge has lost a staggering 11 stone in weight and is now a shadow of his former self. The 43-year-old who owns a restaurant in our region has been on a weight loss mission. But what is the secret of his success? Lauren Hall has been to meet him to find out.
On the food scene, his name is instantly recognisable, even if he isn't these days. It's fair to say Tom Kerridge looks a little different following his dramatic weight loss.
So this is a chef's jacket that I grew out of. I was still too big for that. It's massive. Loads of great chefs have signed it wishing me happy birthday for my 40th birthday. It's always something for me to reflect on and remind me of where we were and now where we're going.
It was his 40th which prompted his change in lifestyle. Since then, he's lost 11 stone.
Do people really need another diet, another set of rules telling them what they can and can't eat? I mean, ultimately, should it just come down to eating less and exercising more?
Yeah, I mean, that methodology of going, use more calories than you're consuming completely works. That's 100%, that's proven. But the reality of that is our day-to-day lives are very, very different. Where if you're counting calories and working out the numbers every single day of what you're trying to do, one day you go over by 100 calories, you're riddled with guilt. It's a very simple rule for me. If it's starchy or it's sweet, don't eat it. And it's that easy, but you can have as much of anything else.
The industry, though, is not without its challenges.
I think the next couple of years with the Brexit will be interesting to see, because produce will change. Movement of staff, that's going to be key to this industry, because you know so many staff within the hospitality trade are European. So whether they still fancy moving here or not, we're now being seen on the world stage as being a great place to come and eat. When I first started cooking, no one wanted to, food in England was awful, and now it's being seen, some of the chefs are making noise. We're being asked to cook all over the world. Lots of us are doing 2 or 3 gigs a year, overseas, reflecting and showcasing British produce, and that's absolutely amazing.
He's now in better health, as is the industry he's working in, both of which have changed beyond recognition. Lauren Hall, ITV News.
That is incredible willpower, isn't it? And finally tonight, Bestival has confirmed it will be held at the Lulworth Estate in Dorset this year and not on the Isle of Wight. It's been there for 16 years, but organisers say a licence has now been granted for it to move to the new site. Now, what does the weather have in store over the next few days? I think things are turning even colder. Let's find out. Here's Simon Parkin.
From Sleat to the slopes, driving through Europe, Eurotunnel the Shuttle sponsors ITV Meridian weather.
Good evening, and I hope you haven't put your hot water bottle away just yet, because you're going to need it over the next couple of nights. By day, cold and cloudy. By night, very, very chilly indeed. And tomorrow, the addition of some drizzly rain to look forward to as well. Basically, we've got a weak weather front working its way westwards as we head through the next 24 hours. That'll bring the cloud and also some patchy light rain. But the good news is, towards the east, we get high pressure building, and that's going to keep the low pressure out over the Atlantic. So nothing unsettled heading heading our way, but nothing very warm either, just a good deal of cloud and some very cold temperatures. For this evening, we've still got a few showers that have been drifting in, but they'll tend to fizzle away over the next couple of hours. There might be a bit of patchy mist here and there, and a fair bit of cloud as we head towards tomorrow morning. Temperatures down to a chilly 2 or 3 degrees, so it will be a fairly cold start tomorrow to what's going to turn out to be a pretty cold day. Any early showers disappearing. There might be some patchy drizzly rain as that weather front works its way westwards, but that should again disappear as the day goes on. But cloud on top of us, quite a cool wind coming in from the northeast, and temperatures a disappointing 5 to 7 degrees.
Eurotunnel the Shuttle sponsors ITV Meridian weather.
And that is all from us for tonight, but we are back during Good Morning Britain bright and early from 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. But from me and from all of us here on the Lake team, thanks very much for your company. We'll see you again tomorrow. Until then, good night.